The 1500 meter finals and 800 meter heats happened over the last couple of days for the men's side, and one thing is for absolute certain, track and field is still very unpredictable. If you had picked Jakob Ingebrigtsen, Josh Kerr, Cole Hawker, Habs and Koech of Kenya to come your top 5 at this World Championships, 5 days ago nobody would call you crazy, yet none of them set foot on the starting line in the finals. And like the 1500 meter of old, this race turned out to be extremely slow, playing into the hands of the likes of Jake Whiteman, Laros, and Nader, with Nader winning and Whiteman coming second, and Laros making that very strong move, 200 meters to go and 100 meters to go, but he just couldn't hold on. He died the last 50, 60 meters. Out of my original top 5 1500 meter picks found in this YouTube video right here, I think I got 2 right. I think Laros and Nader, I had Nader coming 5th and Whiteman coming 3rd, I believe, but Hawker wasn't there. Josh Kerr got hurt in the finals, and Nordhaus didn't even make the semis. But one thing I noticed in these finals is we have less generational talent in the 1500 meters than we do have a generational runner. It's not lost on me that as soon as Jakob Ingebrigtsen is missing from the 1500 finals, the races slow down once again. And if you're new to track and field over these last 5 years, the 1500 meter always used to play out like how it played out last night. Going out really slow, 60-second pace, maybe slightly faster or even slower, and the race always plays into the kicker's hands. It wasn't until Jakob Ingebrigtsen came where every single championship race, it was balls out, going out in 55, going out in 56, and then holding it the whole race. The last 2 championships, Ingebrigtsen got outkicked by Cole Hawker, Josh Kerr, and Whiteman, and the common theme going around the track and field community was, this is the new generation. They're all gonna be fast races from now on. But last night showed you that just one runner can make the whole generation of runners run like that, out of necessity. As soon as the necessity didn't come in the form of a missing Jakob Ingebrigtsen from the finals, things slowed right back down. So besides Nader of Portugal, I think the real winner of this World Championships is Jakob Ingebrigtsen, and how much value he brings to the table in terms of making every race fast and exciting, making people come from 6th, 7th place, running 56s, 57s, all the way to 1st, or people hanging on to 2nd, kicking all the way home and passing Ingebrigtsen at the end, or Ingebrigtsen winning the Olympics in 2020. These exciting races and these fast races are really shown just to be because of him. Now don't get me wrong, we've had the most sub 330 1500 meter runners out of any time in history, especially over the last few years. But as soon as it comes to heats, semis, finals, nobody's willing to put that on the line. Nobody's willing to go out in 55, 56, unless Jakob Ingebrigtsen is there. And to me, that just shows that this generation of runners would be not near their capability without him. It just really shows how much value he brings to the table in the middle distance world, and I really hope he can recover from his injury that he's had over the last year. I've said in my last video, he did not look the same. His running form is completely different, and he has to be careful in my opinion. It's not like my opinion matters to him, but it looks like he's been training with altered form, and what happens when you train with altered form is you start having those physical adaptations to run like that, so even when you're feeling better, you're still gonna be kind of running with a limp or favoring one side like he clearly was in the 1500 meter heats. So my prediction is if we see Ingebrigtsen missing from any of these other future 1500 meter finals, I think we're going to see the generation of runners go back to running slow races, running 333 the fastest to 336, closing in 50 to 52 point. On the 800 meter side, we have the 800 meter semifinals tonight, and we already had the 800 meter heats, and again, we saw a bunch of surprises. Marco Arop made the semifinals, coming 3rd, less than a 10th away from not making the semifinal. We saw Cooper Lutkenhaus fail to qualify for the semifinals. I believe he was ranked 6th in the world, and he was a heavy favorite to make the semifinals. I even heard some people, I think was more hoping than predicting, that he would medal at this World Championships. But that's what we're going to talk about for the rest of this video, is how inexperience kills. Cooper's a young man at 16 years old, and when he ran that race, he looked a little bit like a fish out of water. I've heard a lot of commentary that he just didn't look like himself, or the moment got to him, and all of which might be true. But what really stood out for me, forgive me guys, I'm sweating buckets here. You're in Tokyo, every time I'm walking outside, I'm glistening with sweat because it's just hot. Even at nighttime, it's just so hot out here. Anyways, I digress. I believe Cooper didn't look like himself, not because of any fitness issue or injury issue, and again, I don't know if he had one or not, or the moment that got to him. I think when you're on the world stage and you have that many good runners in the heats, and most of these guys are seasoned veterans, most of these 800 meter runners have ran over 50, 60, 70, probably even over 100 800 meters in their lifetime. How many has Cooper ran? A couple dozen. How many has he ran at an elite level? Less than 10? And that's not a hit on him. He's he's just too young to have raced 50, 60, 70, up to 100, 800 meters at an elite level. The people that came into this race, it really showed they were well more seasoned than him. Cooper went out reasonably in 25 point the first 200 meters, and when the field slammed on the brakes, he kind of tucked his way in lane 2 and jogged a 29-second next 200 meters. By the time he was 500 and 600 meters in the race was still extremely slow. I can't quite remember the 600 meter split, but it might have been 120 point. So the race was slow, and if you're going through 120 point in the 600 meters amongst professional 800 meter runners, you're going to have a very tough time navigating all around them if you're in 6th or 7th like Cooper was. I believe Cooper was 2/3 of a second behind, 600 meters in with 200 meters to go. And when you're going through in 120 and you're now going through in 120 point high, you're going to have to close in 23, 24 reasonably just to make the semifinals. And although we saw Cooper close in 25 point to run 142 at US Nationals, the race played out totally different there. Those races are very easy to run in terms of tactics because you are almost redlining the whole time. You are just following the person in front of you, and when he slows down, you pass him. There wasn't much change of pace. It was go out fast and hold on and kick as hard as you can, which is what Cooper did and earned him 2nd place at US Nationals. At World Championships in the heats, it didn't play out that way. There's a lot of navigating. There's a lot of people taking up a lot of space in lane 1. There's a lot of people not wanting Cooper to pass him. And when you have to close in 23 to 24 point just to come top 3 in a race, and everyone ran 120, everyone has energy left. Everyone's going to close fast. So to think you're going to make up 2/3 of a second, 200 meters to go when everybody else has been jogging and you've been struggling to find your place in the pack through the whole race, it's just going to be extremely difficult. And he just looked confused. He looked confused and he looked frustrated at the end, where he just mailed it in. He mailed in the last 20, 30 meters when he knew he wasn't going to make the finals, the semifinals. But my prediction is Cooper's actually fit enough to make the semifinals and maybe even the finals. I mean, running 142 and being number 6 in the world at 16 is just, he's a generational talent. And these are fixes he can make as soon as next year. The good thing about being so good at that young and competing with international people, you can have 6 years of experience and be only 22 years old. When people are just entering the international scene, he's been competing for 6 years. It's a similar Jakob Ingebrigtsen story, how he's been so successful since an early age too. But anyways, guys, that's what I noticed in the 800 meter heats and 1500 meter finals. It's been an absolute stellar event here in Tokyo. Expect another video after the 800 meter finals. And guys, if you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.